A recent inquiry asked how to modify the task calendars in P6 Professional efficiently. Two operations together can be utilized to achieve this. Let's take a look. The fill down feature is relatively well known, but two operations are required to fill down a task calendar appropriately: fill down and refresh data. The refresh tool can be added to the standard toolbar for quick access. A word of caution: if you are filling down a 10-hour day workweek calendar to replace an 8-hour day workweek calendar, confirm the proper time period settings for that 10-hour calendar. This article demonstrates a quick tip for an efficient fill down of a task calendar in P6 Professional. Our demonstration project is shown here. This schedule has a corporate, standard full-time calendar, which we want to replace with a 4x10 calendar. In our scenario, we already have a 4x10 calendar defined in our Enterprise Calendar feature, so we do not need to create a new calendar. So we begin by modifying the activity ID A1000 contract award date calendar by left double-clicking on its field in the calendar column. The task A1000 with a 4x10 calendar appears in here. We need to highlight all the task rows from the A1000 contract award to the A1140 final quality assurance inspection for our fill down. Hold the Shift key down with the A1000 tasks selected 1, and click the last row in the calendar column 2. You should see an orange outline cell. Ensure this is at the intersection of the calendar column and activity A1110 row. Right-click in the highlighted region and choose Fill Down from the pop-up menu. The resulting task table is in here. The task table looks great except for the deliverables, which still indicate a corporate, standard full-time calendar. We need to refresh the screen so that all these appear as 4x10 calendars. Let us add the refresh button to the standard tool group, which is the top vertical tool group on the upper left of the screen. At the bottom of the standard tool group is a black triangular icon pointing left. We call that a caret, and if you hover the mouse over this caret, a dialog appears that says More Buttons. Left-click on the caret, then click the Add or Remove Buttons drop-down menu. Toggle or check to include the Refresh Data F5 button, and while you are at it, check to include the Commit Changes F10 button as well, which is good to have. Now simply click the Refresh Data button. The activity table then appears in here. Our schedule looks good. However, we want to set our project to use the 4x10 calendar for additional tasks. In the EPS, we select our project, click the bottom Details Default tab, and click the Calendar field. In the Select Default Project Calendar, we choose 4x10 and click Select. Our schedule default calendar is set to 4x10. Now confirm the proper time period settings for our 4x10 calendar. Click the Activities tab and choose Enterprise Calendars. In the Calendars dialog box, select the 4x10 calendar and choose the Modify button. Then, click Time Periods in the Global Calendar, 4x10 dialog, and in the Hours per Time Period dialog box, confirm that the hours per day is set to 10. It should be set to 10 so that each 10-hour period is 1 day. If this were set to 8 for our 10-hour per day workweek, then, e.g., when we work 10 hours on Monday, it would say that we worked 1.25 days on Monday, which is not what we want. When we work 10 hours on a 4x10 workweek, we want the original duration to indicate we worked 1 day, and not 1.25 days. Click OK and OK to exit the Calendar Modify dialog. Note the check mark next to the Corporate Standard Full-Time Calendar. The Corporate Standard Full-Time is the database's default calendar. Currently, 4x10 is set to the default calendar for our pipe repairs and improvement project but not the database. The database's default calendar determines the calendar's non-work day shading on the Gantt chart. We want Friday through Sunday to shade as non-work days. We check 4x10 as the database's default calendar. Observe now on the Gantt chart that each Friday, Saturday, and Sunday period is shaded to indicate non-work days. Summary. Changing the calendar assigned to tasks requires several steps, but two primary operations: fill down and refresh data. After you fill down and refresh, confirm or reset the default calendar for the project and the database. Adding the refresh data and commit changes to the standard tool group makes them handy for repeated utility of the save and refresh data operations.